blastmusic247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Paul Cram, and as you see, my name has a little changes. Paul Cram, aka DOT, Drip of All Trades, new member of the Honey Drippers Collective. Man, tonight we have a special episode for you guys tonight, man. I have the absolute pleasure of having my favorite poet of all time. Anybody who's ever talked to me, I tell them quickly, J. Rob the Wise Son is my favorite poet ever, and he has accepted the invitation to come join us at the lounge. My co-host Amuna J will be in shortly. In the meantime, we go ahead and introduce everybody to J. Rob real quick by reading a little introduction. John L. Robinson Jr., aka J. Rob the Wise Son, was born and raised in Bronx, New York, and he began writing poetry while being influenced by hip-hop, colorful lyrics during its golden era, and from his early inspirations in that genre, he began to explore other forms of expressionism in the form of spoken word poetry. His influences in that arena are Amiri Baruka, Julio Feliciano, if I'm saying these names wrong, bro, correct me when I bring you up, Sonia Sanchez, Nikki Giovanni, Langston Hughes, and Gil Scott Heron, just to name a few. J. Rob's writing style has a musical quality to it that you can almost hear in his prose. He cites the music of his childhood and the giants of jazz as the foundation behind his love for music when writing poetry. As a spoken word poet, John has contributed his work to the book Signifying Harlem, has been featured in Poets Speaks magazine, New York Poets Cafe, and is a member of the renowned Harlem Writers Guild. It is there that he is often called upon, along with other dynamic writers, to compose pieces for special events and well-suited occasions. As he has often said, he has been doing this before Fight the Power was a chant. He is the co-host of a weekly show called The Get Down, which is part of the For Real Entertainment Network. Shout out Epiphany. He is also the author of his first title, A Spoken Word Soliloquy, and The View from My Pen, which will officially be on sale in March of 2022. To reach J Rob, contact him on Instagram, JRob_the_Wise-Son, and YouTube, J Rob the Wise Son, and Facebook under John Robinson. And without further ado, please welcome to the stage my brother, my friend, my favorite poet, J. Rob the Wise Son.
What's good with you, big bro? How's everything, man?
Man, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for coming out, man. You have no idea what this means.
I'm not gonna front, bro. This means a lot more to me. Just hearing a cat that I got mad love for, and who loves poetry as much as I do, to invite me on such a beautiful platform, bro. This is a humbling experience. Thank you for the invitation, and I wouldn't miss this for the world, bro. Thank you, and again, thank you, man.
Yeah. So this man here, besides poetry, he also got me involved in this culture of cigars. And so tonight I've got the Havana honey, real smooth, nice honey flavor to it. You know, the Nicaraguan and the tobacco. I'm starting to do my research like you told me.
There you go. I'm pulling because I'm on your show. I'm inside your church with this beautiful music and that wonderful background. I'm inside your church, so I'm pulling on a tabernacle from Guatemala with a Pennsylvania tobacco blend. And I'm like, in honor of Paul Cram, drip of all trades, salute to you, sir. Let's do it.
That's
Thank you.
you. So let's go ahead and get into it. J. Rob, I'm reading in your bio and I see that hip hop had a major influence on your writing.
Oh,
What
absolutely.
what are some of those hip hop giants that really influenced your pen?
I'd have to start with the trilogy. It would be Grandmaster Caz, Kumo D, and Melly Mel.
Ooh.
Grandmaster Caz had a flow that he could just tell a story. Mo D was on the intellectual side and very intricate at how he brought it together. And Mel had the voice of a god. And these guys were all young teenagers creating poetry behind other forms of music 10 seconds at a time. And when you heard what they did so intricately, and they're all three leaders of their respective crews, I'm like, you can't get no better than this. I saw Kaz live when I was maybe 15 years old, and he made a record sound different than the original version. So if you ever heard the record Freedom, there's a chorus that says, if you feel it in your bone. And he would stop the record in the middle of it and say, if you feel it in your bone, come on. And he would do that throughout the entire record. And I'm like, yo, who is this dude? And then I heard him rhyme and I was like, wait a minute. Because there were other cats that was doing it, DJ Hollywood. You had some cats with Eddie Chiba. And these guys that are older than me because my brothers listened to them. But I heard Grandmaster Caz and I was like, yo, stop the presses. But when I heard Mel at 17, I think he was either 16 or 17, when they did Super Rapping, and he did that same poem that he did in The Message, a child is born with no state of mind, blind from the ways of mankind. God is smiling on you, but he's frowning too, because only God knows what you'll go through. I'm like, nobody writes like that at 17. I'm like, you can't be serious. And then I heard Mo D and was like, wait a minute. Just the detail of what he did. And he came from just a different spot. And when he started fast rhyming, and I was like, wow, I want to do that. And I hung out. I come to find out I have a cousin, DJ Rock and Rob. Shout out to the Mean Machine crew. But DJ Rock and Rob was instrumental in bringing that home because I heard a whole lot of my favorite records at that time. Funky Drummer, Love Rap, which is the anthem of hip hop in New York. In one side of another back in the day. But they just Funky Penguin and other beats. And he's like, yo, I think you got a voice. And I wanted to sound like my heroes, you know. And I'm not gonna front. I bit their rhyme so I can learn how to have a cadence. And having their cadence taught me how to write in other ways. But I wanted to sound like that. And I wanted to say, well, what would Kaz say if he heard me say this? What would Mel say if he heard me say this? And I'm just trying to sound like my heroes. Just like if you're a singer, you want to sound like Marvin Gaye. You want to sound like Barry White if your voice is that deep. You want to sound like Smokey Robinson or someone from the Stylistics or the Temptations. You want to sound like your heroes. So you hear what it sounds like in your ear and you want to say it out loud. And as luck would have it, man, you know, I had crews and guys that I rocked out with, and we all just love hip hop, man. And listen, if I could just go back for just a second, Mo D said something 25, maybe 30 years ago. And he said, if you could just use your innovation and close your eyes and visualize us on the Enterprise and set all coordinates upon the subordinate rappers, beam them up, take their minds and then broaden it, send them back to Earth, then watch their net worth multiplied by mega millions. Now you witness the birth of a new society, rappers with variety, some with prestige, flair, and notoriety. Bro, if you look at where hip hop is right now, what he talked about 30 years ago is right now.
I know.
I'm like, I'm just blown away, and that's what I want to write like. And then when I heard 13 years old, we had a 14 inch TV. I'm watching PBS, and the last poets were on, and I heard Felipe Luciano do a piece called Hibalo. My Pretty Nigga. Now this is in the 1970s, so people aren't really up in the air about the word like they are now, as we should be. But I saw it and was like, that's amazing. And he's on a fire escape spitting poetry, and I was like, wow. And it wasn't until Def Poetry that I heard it as an adult, and it made me cry, because my best friend at the time when I was a kid was Ricky Hernandez. One of my boys now is Mujahid MC Bey, and Muja's a Cuban brother, but Muja's my man, and I have a strong relationship with this brother. And Ibalo just brought us together on that, and every time we talked, I would be like, Mujahid, ¿qué pasó, mi amigo Ibalo? And he would give it back to me in the way it's supposed to be said. But I did the piece for him at an event for him. And while people didn't kind of like the N word, I like, you don't get it. No matter what happens in this world, you always gonna be my dude. But the way Felipe did it, he ended it by saying, I will never let you go. Nah, nigga. And he's just saying, you are my man. Live or die. You are my man. And I'm like, salute. And that piece really brought a tear to my eye. And when a poet brings the emotions out of you, you never know who you're going to touch in the audience, man. But when they touch you, bro, you feel it in your heart. And you're like, I want to write like that. But fast forward, I got a chance to meet Sonia Sanchez years ago. And a lot of people is doing this while they're doing their poetry. And she's just in the audience chilling. And people are like, you shouldn't read your poetry. And sometimes, Def Jam, Def Poetry, and some other poetry shows at that time hurt, because a lot of times to spit in front of people takes a lot of heart. And you got to try not to get nervous when you got 9,000 eyes on you. And she said, baby, stop trying to sound like everybody. Poetry is like jazz. They got to hear it. And when they hear it and they dig it, they're going to love you. Love the audience for loving you, but love you first when it comes to what you do with your pen. So it don't matter if you're reading it. She said, because as you get older, you're going to read it anyway. But she's like, read it, but read it in such a way that the audience gets it. Because somebody out there is going through something you don't know. And they're going to be inspired by what you do. To that point, I did a piece at Rawway Prison with some friends of mine, maybe 12 or 15 years ago. And I did a piece called What Would Daddy Say? And bro, when I tell you at the end of the set, this gigantic brother, got to be like 6'7", 6'8", 2% body fat, walked over to me crying. What happened? And he said he's doing double life. And he's never going to see his child again. And he said, your poem reminded me I'm never going to see my child. Because in the piece I said, don't ever ask what would daddy say to this and to that. You're the man I could never be, and the man I wish I could become. And he said, and unfortunately for me, I will always be your absentee father. What would daddy say? And he said, yo, brother, would you mind if I had that piece so I could send it to my son? Here you go. It's yours. Because again, it touches somebody. And that's all you ever want to do. And if our job as poets, our job is to touch the community. Our job is to tell the story that the community is yelling about. Our job is to let the world know about the good, bad, and the ugly. And you can tell an ugly story poetically and make it sound real beautiful to make people remember. And you can tell a real beautiful story to the point where people don't want to go to sleep because the beauty is still stuck in their minds. Like one of those beautiful songs you've ever written or heard. But this thing that we do, I love it, man.
I think that's how I feel about that song, Just My Imagination. Like, it's when I first heard it, it was kind of funny to me until I sat back and really thought about it. Like, this man, to me, that has to be one of the greatest love songs ever. He designed love in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, that is phenomenal to me. Like, that is phenomenal to me.
But now take it on the same flip. I Wish It Would Rain. So, now you got the beauty of Just My Imagination, but now take I Wish It Would Rain. Sunshine, blue skies, please go away. My girl has found another and gone away. With her, with my future, and my life is filled with doom. So day after day, I stay locked up in my room. I know it's true, but it might sound strange, but I wish it would rain. Bruh, that was a real story. That dude actually wound up killing himself over a woman he lost for the record company.
That's hurt.
And,
That's real hurt.
but it's such a memorial song. You dig? And the melody is so pure that when you hear it, you hear them chords, dum 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 diddle dum dum. You know what's coming. Sort of like it's so hard to the original version of it, it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. You hear that organ play, and you hear that song, you're like, wow, it's a tragic song, but it's beautifully executed in its poetic essence. And you're like, man, this is us. This is us telling that story, and it touches the world to the point where other people in other languages want to tell that same story because it's so relatable. Bro, poetry is magic, bro. And whether it's hip hop or it's spoken word, and when I got too old to do hip hop, I fell right into spoken word. It was the most natural thing because I never stopped writing.
At what point do you think you found your own voice with your pen?
2 times. I was doing reciting a piece from Grandmaster Caz, and Prince Whipper Whip from the Romantic Fantastic Five behind Love Rap, and it happens with all poets, I guess. At some point in time, and just started rhyming off of Love Rap, and I just heard me doing something different, and it sounded great. I didn't remember what the piece was, but my cousin recorded it, and I'm just rhyming, and I'm like, wow. He's like, bro, that's what you're supposed to sound like. Spoken word wise, I'm doing a piece in front of all these poets, and I asked the guy, could I get on stage? And he said, who do you think you are, man? You think you Kumo D or something? Get your old ass out of here. And I was like, whoa, it's just poetry. I got a chance to get on stage, and I did a poetry about friendship between 2 black men, and it was a story, but it's poetry. And man, the piece came off, and then the next thing you know, I'm getting invitations to come to other places to spit poetry, and I was like, "That's what's up." And mind you, I was the oldest dude in the group in the whole atmosphere, and people were saying, "Can you come out and do some other stuff? Can you mind coming out?" And man, it is humbling at this age with gray hair that somebody will tap you on the shoulder and say, "Hey, could you come out and spit with us?" I'm like, if y'all like what I got, yeah. Especially if I'm doing the romantic stuff, or if I'm doing the conscious pieces, or if I'm just doing black love, like I'm one of the few poets right now doing a particular poetry series. So you'll see different versions of black love. Because one thing Malcolm X has always said was the most disrespected woman in America is the black woman. And we don't tell the women in our lives how much we love them as often as we should. And that's the goal of the Black Love series. I talk to you and Van and Mojave and the other brothers from Epiphany. I remind y'all from my heart how much I love y'all and how much I appreciate y'all. And while I may not be in a relationship right now per se, I got no problem telling the woman in my life, I'm really in love with you. And I want to express it like this. And hence some of the pieces that I do, that's what you tend to get.
Awesome. Well, I would love for our listeners to hear the amazing talent of J. Rob the Wise Son. So are you ready to spit your first piece?
Yes, I am.
All right. The mic is yours.
My man. This piece is called Black Joy. Joy is listening to dope hip hop lyrics from real MCs. Joy is a James Baldwin poem that is being recited by Langston Hughes as Donny Hathaway played the soft piano notes behind music composed by Miles Davis and John Coltrane, hummed by Jill Scott, with a melodic hummingbird perched on her finger, just sitting there. She's singing along. Joy is my sisters playing double dutch on hot asphalt during hot summer hazy days in the Bronx while playing hot peas and butter. Red Rover, it's Harlem World, it's the rooftop, it's Pearl Washington versus Kobe Bryant in Rucker Park, it's Disco Fever. It's Love Bug Starsky scatting to Jazzmobile Giants over Wednesday nights after work. Joy is the final incarcerated footsteps of innocent black men being released from white-owned institutions for crimes they never committed. Joy is Kumo D, spitting fire with Grandmaster Caz when he heard Nas reciting Rakim lyrics to AZ, passing the mic to Busta Rhymes after LL gave the mic back to Black Thought after he had a duet with Big Daddy Kane, while Kool G Rap explained the Ill Street Blues to the Fresh Prince, EPMD, Redman, Method Man, and Ghostface Killer, while whispering and reciting Cash rules everything around me. Cream gets the money to the funky drummer rhythms of Joy. And it's the final incarcerated steps that didn't have to happen. Joy was all the multiple musical renderings from DJ Rock and Rob to his son DJ Flawless to Jazzy Jeff to Kid Capri to DJ Scratch Flash and Theodore saying make the music with your mouth biz while Dougie Fresh beatbox to Lottie Dottie because we love the party. Joy is remembering how much fun Skelly games was in the Bronx, playing stickball with my old friends, talking about my old friends, until once again one of my old friends walks in. Joy was wearing my father's fedora, running up the block just to greet him and slow walk my dad home just so I could tell my dad about my day while I was riding on his shoulders. Joy was eating Cocoa Puffs early in the morning with cold milk, reading cornflakes box tops with prizes in them while singing Schoolhouse Rock Tops verbatim. Joy is the aroma of soul food cooking in Harlem Project hallways before I kiss my grandmother and my Aunt Bibi, licking the hollow bowl that housed Mommy's sweet potato pie baking before she put it in the oven. It's hearing my brothers and sisters laugh loudly while we play Monopoly, running a train in spades on my cousins. Man, Joy is wishing I was Marvin Gaye while singing Eddie Kendrick's Keep on Truckin' sonnets behind the four tops. I need your loving lyrics, while wondering why every single Sunday Gladys Knight was always leaving on a midnight train to Georgia as the Temptations wished it would rain because Frankie Beverly told her, I can't get over you. And then I finally understood why it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. You know, joy is the feeling that you get after warm teenage hot makeout sessions as adults, passionately French kissing the one you love until your lips drips and quivers some more from open mouth pirouettes as your soul begins to beg for more open stolen moments like this that will last forever. Joy is kissing her on the cheek, and she whispers I love you before she gets in her cab. And she looks back at you that last time. That's joy. That's black love. That's a deeper shade of soul. Poem.
Phenomenal. So does everyone understand why I say what I say? Like this man takes you on a journey with words, like just amazing.
Thank you. I hope people enjoyed the piece, man. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So I'm gonna spit a quick piece, and by the time that's done, we should be getting ready to go into the midway point.
Yes, sir.
This piece is not titled as of yet, but it was actually inspired by Mojave. Mojave put me on a rabbit hole, man, and had me doing some research on some things, man. And I didn't know. I knew Mojave was an intelligent dude, but I didn't know his thought process was like genius level.
Oh yes.
And
Oh
yes,
yes.
man, bro. And he sent me down this rabbit hole. And the piece that I've written for this, to me, it'll never be complete. I really found a definite stopping point for now. Type like this is a piece that can go on forever because of what he made me research. So I'm gonna go ahead and spit this piece real quick. All right, beat. We get the music. All right, that's my fault. All right. Hello, my name is Eric. My name is Sandra. My name is Aubrey. Philandro, Brianna, Oscar, Tamir, George. My name is now part of a mathematical equation due to the fact that my life was subtracted and x being the variable holding the place of the unknown, causing long division within the structure of our community, multiplying tension between the people and the police, which leads to another name being added to the daily mathematical equation. A lot of the math is easy to calculate, but no one takes time to solve for x. You see, no one knows what X truly represents. You see, X should really be a dollar sign due to the profits made off the battered backs of black men and women. Let me ask you a question. Where does the money come from? Who pays for the settlements given to the families that has to settle with the reality that they may never see their brother, their son, their sister, their daughter ever again? How are these settlements paid? Well, let me tell you. It's called police brutality bonds. These bonds literally allow banks and wealthy investors to profit from a man that has taken his last breath, calling for his mama. These bonds made companies like Wells Fargo richer. When Timothy Loman decided that a little black boy playing in the park was a big enough threat to end his existence before the squad car even stopped moving, these bonds, when used to pay for settlements, doubles in costs, and all this is paid by you, taxpayers. An increase in police brutality is a sure sign that your government on all levels is in recovery mode. Mass hiring of men who turned in their sheets to wear badges, training at the academy was definitely lacking, but they were still released on the streets of already over policed communities of color, proud to be used to line the pockets of Wall Street. As long as they got a piece of the corrupt pie. You see, this is why tax hikes happen as often as they do. The math was in front of us the whole time. Subtract the life. Multiply the settlement given by the now known variable of police brutality bonds, which increases the percentage of taxes we pay. The long division between the structure of the community continues, multiplying the tension between the people and the police, which always leads to another name being added to a very profitable mathematical equation. So, in other words, your taxes raise because it's profitable to kill niggas in peace.
Mm. Bruh, stop playing.
Man,
Stop
appreciate
playing
that.
with them. Stop,
Thank
bruh. Oh, I gotta. We have after this, we gotta talk about a collabo on this subject.
Bet
Cause
that up.
ooh,
It
ooh
would be an
wee,
honor, man. It would be an honor to
ooh
collab
wee.
with you.
And let me go back for a second.
Mhm.
You did something when I first met you years ago. You was doing delivery poetry joints.
Poetry grams.
Yo, my God, bruh. I said my man cornered the market on that joint. But bro, let me tell you, hearing you, watching you, and hearing you. Oh, sweet Jesus, bro. I got goosebumps right now. Oh my God.
Oh man,
Woo!
I appreciate that, brother.
Ooh, brother. Oh my
Thank
God!
you.
You
Oh
know,
man. Excuse me.
you just took me someplace, man. Because I wrote a piece years ago, and it was talking about how come we're still asking for liberty and justice for all, but we're not all.
Mm.
We have our tears are fertilizing perfectly manicured grass in cemeteries where there's silent prayers of unheard and unanswered people asking God, why me?
Mm.
Gray bullets coming from behind blue shields of silence and blue walls of violence in a multicolored kaleidoscope community that looks a lot like mine. Bro, that piece you just did.
Man, thank you. Like, I'm humble. I'm so humble. But we are definitely at the midway point now. I'm gonna bring up Veek really quick, my station manager, vice president of everything operational dealing with Blast, and just the overall cool ass dude, man. Like, dude is just dope.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Veek?
Hey, fellas, great pieces, man. I appreciate the poetry you guys are dropping, man. Good luck. Good evening, everyone. Our blast artist of the night is my man Elijah Rosario, and this is called Plot on My Soul. Let's check it out.
Fighting not to lose control. I know the devil tryna blot on my soul. Even though I've had some really bad days, I can never lose my faith and I won't give up on hope. Fighting not to lose control. I know the devil tryna blot on my soul. Even though I've had some really bad days, I could never lose my faith and I won't give up on hope. I've been staying clear of all distractions. All they ever do is bring me havoc. Fighting for my life to get established. I'm working to rebuild through all the damage. I was drinking every night into the early morning. I had suicidal thoughts running through my mind. At the point of no return, and I kept it going. Stuck inside the dark, I couldn't see the light. Sitting in a room, 4 white walls, cornered off with no view. Sleeping on the floor with the mattress filled with air. Different women in my bed, I was never playing fair. When no love over here, I was messed up. I was so cold, really messed up. I thought I'd die alone, but I got a second chance. I'm trying to be a better man. Fighting not to lose control. I know the devil trying to blot on my soul. Even though I've had some really bad days, I could never lose my faith and I won't give up on hope. Fighting not to lose control. I know the devil trying to blot on my soul. Even though I've had some really bad days, I could never lose my faith and I won't give up on hope.
I've been doing donuts in the 6 speed. Yeah, I just let the rushing on my wrist bleed. I just iced the watch, I'm feeling crispy. Yeah, I've been catching waves like a jet ski.
Yeah, got a little C, she look just like me. Had to wrap my wrongs, I did it for wifey. I know you wanna, but you know you can't be like me. So why the devil always tryna tell me, oh Lord? Yeah, I've been in the church, you gotta save me, oh Lord. Yeah, I've been doing dirty, so my name in my soul. Yeah, used to sell a walk, I turned off white to white gold. Yeah, it's a lot of cars and look like I'm a pro. Yeah, pearly gates I can't do like a fire. Revelations 20 said I got the right judge. So God keep working on me like procedures. Catch me out here spitting game talk like a preacher. Freezy. Fighting not to lose control. I know the devil tryna blot on my soul. Even though I've had some really bad days, I could never lose my faith and I won't give up on hope. Fighting not to lose control. I know the devil tryna blot on my soul. Even though I've had some really bad days, I could never lose my faith and I won't give up on hope.
And that was my man Elijah Rosario with Plot on My Soul.
Wow.
And if you are an independent artist or a spoken word poet or up and coming comedian that's looking for some exposure, you can go to blastmusic247.com and register for free. But Blast is also looking for the fans. If you're a fan of great music, you can also go to blastmusic247.com, register under the Unlimited Fan, and have access to hundreds of independent music. Blast. We are constantly changing the industry, one artist at a time. All right, guys, back to y'all.
Oh man, like, that track was hot.
That was absolutely awesome.
That was dope. Man. Wow. So now I need to ask you another question, superstar.
Please.
So you've performed in a lot of different venues. You performed at a lot of different events. You've performed in front of a lot of different people.
Yes, sir.
Which venue would you say had to be your favorite and why? Or event, venue or event?
My favorite. That's hard. Wow, I think the first time. Wow. Okay, dig it. I'm playing for a Black History Month program, and I turned out all the lights. I bring in a coffin, and I hand out the words, "I am not a nigger." And I give it to everybody in the front of the audience. And I said, as I'm doing this piece, I want you to put the words in the coffin. And I'm doing the piece about how I'm not a nigger. And at the end of the piece, I slam the coffin down and the lights go out, illustrating the death of the word nigger. Ooh. And when they turned on the lights, I got a standing ovation. I damn near cried because I'd never gotten a standing ovation for my piece, but told me that people were really digging that. And that had to be one of the most proudest moments. And a young brother who was there walked up to me and was like, people are going to start to remember you now because they see you with your bow ties and they see your clean cut. And they're like, John's a particular kind of cat, but when they hear you spit, you turn into something different. And I couldn't hear the applause until everyone stood up. Because when you're really into a piece, you zone out. And you're trying to get the piece done, and you're trying to get your cadence right, and you're trying to get the emphasis of certain words and whatnot, and the consciousness of what it was. I had to remind people we're the only population of people who have gone through different name changes over the last 200 years. But the one word that has remained with us is nigga.
Yeah.
I was like, we've never been niggas. We've been kings and queens. And we've celebrated all types of successes and riches. But unfortunately, we have never gotten tired of calling each other niggas and bitches. And that's how we ended the piece. And the standing ovation. And the lady was there. And that had to be it. The second thing happened, I did a piece with my mom. I still can't get through this piece. I mean, mommy's still alive, praise God. But I had her in the show, and I did the piece, and I'm trying to explain to her what she meant to me. And while I'm in the piece, I started crying, and I'm just doing the piece while I'm crying, not paying attention that everybody in the audience is crying. And I ended the piece on one knee, and I was like, if it wasn't for you, there would be no me. You're my actual dream come true. Mommy, I love you. And I slowly stood up and I excused myself from the venue so I could wipe my eyes. People was in there crying, and they was walking up to my mother, and they were like, I wish my son, because some people's sons were murdered to the streets and whatnot. And they were like, I wish my son was alive to hear this. I wish my son would say something like that to me. And they were complimenting my mom. And then mommy got emotional because she never heard me really spit before. And the fact that all these people was coming up to her who never knew her and just told her that was awesome. And that's absolutely awesome.
My mother is definitely like a big influence for me. Like growing up, and I apologize to her all the time. Like I just randomly bring it up and apologize to her because growing up, I wasn't the greatest son in the world, and I blame my mama for a lot of things that I had to get older to realize, man, my mother was the strongest woman I ever knew. Like my mother was doing things that she was told was impossible, and she made it possible. I don't know what going hungry was, none of that. Like shit, my mama's one of them people that'll go get some ramen noodles and some chicken leg quarters and turn that shit into a gourmet meal. And you will swear to God, some French chef was in our kitchen, man. My mama just made sure she did what she had to do. And I didn't understand it growing up. When I got older and I realized how much, like how strong and how influential she was on my survival of life, man. Like my mother is my hero.
And think about it. We didn't ask to be here.
Mm.
And she carried us for 9 months. If you add up the minutes and count the days and realize the power in the number 9 and inverted 6 carrying you to see that you're here to fruition. Regardless of what you put her through, she never stopped loving you, bruh.
Nope.
You know how powerful of a commitment that is? That is something that's something that I don't have. But to see the stuff that my mom put up with me and my brothers and sisters, and bruh, she's still here. And the one thing that she said that has stuck with me, which is why I didn't get into crime as a kid, even though I hung out with thugs, my mother said, I expect great things from you. I'll do a whole lot of stuff, but I'm not going to disappoint my mom. You know, and I may not have been the perfect son growing up, but as a man, I'm making up for a lot of stuff. But I remind that lady on a regular basis in poetry and other ways. I'm here because of you. There ain't no John Robinson without you, ma. There ain't MC Holiday doesn't exist without Mary Robinson. J. Rob the Wise Son doesn't exist without Mary Robinson. I'm like, yo, I stole your smile. I look like my dad, but I stole your smile. That without her, bro, all this poetry stuff is meaningless, man. We're mama's boys.
Straight up.
Not, the first woman we ever loved was mom. We're mama boys, bro. And that's a beautiful thing as a grown man. That's a beautiful thing as a grown man. Because we have a positive image to look up to. And you may have children. I have a whole bunch of nieces and nephews, and I want to be the best representation that they have. And you're somebody's hero, bro. I mentor a bunch of kids, and I want to be their hero. Your biologicals, they look up to you, bro, in a way that you can't begin to imagine, because you're their hero, because you make it happen. Hook or crook, you make it happen. And 20 years from now, they're going to tell that story like you just told about your mom. And don't be surprised if one of them tells it through poetry. You're powerful, bro.
That'll be dope, man. Like my mama, I tell her thank you a lot because I know I've been getting on her damn nerves since conception. I think I got on her nerves in the womb. So it's just, man. So are you ready to bless the viewers, the listeners, with another piece?
I'm always ready for you, bro.
I'm sorry.
Come on. No, you first.
After you spit your piece, there's a piece that I'm gonna spit. You've heard it before, but it's a piece that was inspired because of you.
Oh, my man, let's get it.
So the mic is yours.
I am the unfulfilled dreams, hanging on the edge and the ends of the ropes of men, women, and children in every season on public display for no reason, rotting like strange fruit. That ends up being the lifeless corpse rotting away in sundown towns that gentrify our genius, but lives and lives. And those people that live in powerful penthouses for hours that watch us put brands on our body like the brands they used to put on our bodies because we jumped through hoops just to put somebody else's brand on our bodies. I am the excuse given for gentrification and forced migration because this skin ain't supposed to live here. The reason why it's okay to hate us when all we ever did was exist. And even when we thrive, they don't want us to exist, but celebrate our everything and steal it just like it's Christmas. Even when we're being peaceful, they don't want us to exist. because beneath the foot or the knee, it seems that this is some place that they'd rather see me. How do you not see me or we first see us when we are the original cancel culture created by the most copied culture that was birthed first? I am the tears that fertilize acres of graveyards and cemeteries and houses that are buried silent American nightmares, where blood curdled regurgitated prayers continue to go ignored as if someone's not pressing the button for God to answer in heaven. Sometimes it feels like God's angels are always on a coffee break when it comes to black people asking for better days. Where mirrored chocolate genocide has a front row seat, our mass destruction because we still wear hollow metal, hollow bullets, and hollow enslavement on our skin like tattoos and exclusive bragging rights to our ignorance. And even with all this, how come it don't bother any of you will ever figure? And we've grown embraced and we've grown accustomed to love one another, yet we still call each other my nigga. And even with all that, I still see rainbows of endless possibilities in the most targeted population people's eyes. And regardless of the genius that they continue to steal, let me reiterate Jesse when he said just because we're magical doesn't mean we're not real. Do you know how many mothers have tearfully fertilized acres of perfectly managed grass that have casket house lost souls in them? And would rather wait for them to be called home by old age than hot lead and surgical shot blades or deliberately implanted genetic drugs that come with football score jail sentences? And your life is a price tag. Your life has a price tag. Institutionalized price tags happen to have a whole lot of black people connected to them. And all I ever say is, damn, y'all, this shit gotta change. Because I'm tired of singing we shall overcome when we constantly aid colonizers in our destruction, but then complain about it. This great divide, we just can't spell destruction. But with this great divide, it sounds a whole lot like black genocide. Shit has got to change. Poem.
Wow, your pen, your pen tells stories, bro, that there's no way I could do just verbally. Like there's no way I could be able to tell that same story with that same passion and same power just having a conversation with somebody. It's just something amazing about the way the ink flows from your pen, man. Like I loved it. Like you are amazing.
Ooh, thank you, bro. Them kind of pieces kind of get to me because it's us. It's us.
So this piece that I'm getting ready to do is called Talk with God.
Ooh.
Dear God, I know I don't talk to you as much as I should, but I can't allow another moment to go by without me telling you thank you. I remember when I was a child, I fell to my knees and begged you to give me a brother. Every night, that was my request to you for a long, long time. I felt like my prayers was falling on deaf ears because those prayers were not being answered, but there is a saying I grew up hearing about prayers. Say he may not come when you want him, but he'll be there right on time. Those words never made sense to me until I was blessed enough to interact with J. Rob, the wise son. Poetically, to me, he's one of the elites, a giant amongst most men. But the reason I put him on a pedestal is for what he has done for me behind the pen. You see, on some of my darkest days, he would deliver random words of encouragement that carried bright beacons of hope to help guide me through my mental hurricanes. His advice felt like an edict from King Solomon, unlocking a closed mind through open ears so that I can truly grasp the wisdom in his decree. His unconditional brotherly love was supplied to me without thought of payment or return on his investment. He has poured into me. life lessons. He has gifted me an abundance of confidence. He has blessed me with more than enough messages of motivation that I now He has blessed me with more than enough messages of motivation that I now use his words to help others going through their own mental hurricanes. So, God, although I don't talk to you as much as I should, I have to say thank you for not coming when I wanted you to, but you were definitely right on time. Thank you, God, for J. Rob, the wise son, the brother that I prayed for. In peace.
Man,
I remember it was your birthday, and Epiphany got you. They got you good with the get down. You thought it was, which all those listening, Epiphany Radio Thursdays, I'm telling you right now, man, you don't want to miss that. The get down gets down. And I'm gonna let him explain more about the get down momentarily, but it was your birthday. I want to say you were really supposed to be with your moms, but you ended up doing the show and you came prepped, ready to just do your thing and realize, man, this show is dedicated to you. And we came back to back to back to back with just poems of love and praise for the man that you are, for the poet that you are. So it's an honor. It's an honor for me to have you here at the lounge. It's an honor for me to be able to go into your inbox when shit going wrong and I can just hit you up. Like it's an honor to be able to call you my brother. And I love you. I love you, brother.
that piece moves me, man. I lost my brother Fudge in 2019, and that dude Van and David Mott, who's the reason why I'm on Epiphany, did a show dedicated to my brother, a cat they never met before. People from all over the country called in. It's moments like this that reminds you of why you are your brother's keeper. And don't ever forget how much brothers like me love you, man. I call you out of the blue if I see that something's not going right, and I'm like, bro, just talk to me. If you got a vent, hit me up. But cats like you and Jay Walker and Van, you cats hit me when I least expect it when I'm going through stuff, man. And I know y'all got families and everything, but y'all still find a way to hit a brother up. And I couldn't be more blessed than to have cats like y'all in my circle, man. I love you, bro. Thank you for this.
Love you too, man. So I see we have about 6 minutes. And I believe in that 6 minutes. If you have another piece that
Whew.
you can bless them with before I get you into telling them how they can get in touch with you, follow you, all that. But I really want the last poem to be from you.
Got you, bro. I
The
got
mic,
you.
the mic is yours.
Once upon a time, a poet walks into a bar in Harlem just after smoking a cigar. And after saying high five to all the guys, he saw a young lady and he said, "Excuse me, miss, but may I please give you a compliment that has made my eyes as watery as this drink that I'm currently holding? And as they resemble the condensation that drips before my eyes, it gives away what I'm feeling. Let me just say this to you. And before you roll your eyes, I want to apologize in advance for any heartbreak that I might bring to you. But you see, let me say sorry to you over and over and over again before our first date. And before you toss your drink in my face and say, get the fuck away from me, let me explain something to you. You see, sweetheart, I'm not perfect. But I'm in a perfect position to show you exactly how beautiful and perfect could possibly be when you see me in all of my verbal nudity. You see, only a lion ass man will sell you bullshit dreams and try to get you to believe that he's a superstar dipped in caviar. But can you possibly take a look at me and see me as your favorite tasting fetish? Because every time I look at you, I'm trying to think about bringing out your bad girl side. I want you to imagine us someplace sexy, sharing subtle displays of public affection that consist of hand holding, soft kisses, and your tongue softly grazing my lips, winking at me, asking me if I like that kind of shit. And let me just say before I walk away, this wasn't easy. But I saw you from all the way over there, and I decided to come up to you because I saw you smiling like that, and it had to be deja vu. And all I need is for you to wake up next to me looking at your beautiful brown eyes over and over again. And you see my choice, sweetheart, my choice was swift because I believe I'm looking into the eyes of the woman that I want to grow old with. And more than anything else, I'm looking at my future. And if I don't get to ever hear from you again, I hope you have a good night. But if I hear from you before you leave, I just hope that someday I could prove to you why it never rains in Southern California while having romantic escapades on the fire escapes of the South Bronx. And the way your lips look, I just hope that kind of dream can come true so I can have an opportunity to write tantric love letters to your fantasies. And I swear to God, you have got to be by far the most beautiful woman I have ever seen in any room I have ever walked in. And by the way, my name's Jay. I just hope I get to see you before you walk away. By the way, your bartender, whatever she drinking, I'm buying. Poem.
So what y'all drinking? What y'all drinking? He said he's buying it. What y'all drinking, man? What y'all drinking, bro? Jay Jay Walker say he's retiring his pen. After listening to
Come
these.
on, man.
Man, now he full of jokes, man. Jay,
I
you know
do.
your pen is monstrous. I can't wait to get you up here. Believe that your time is coming, brother. Oh
Indeed.
man.
Indeed.
So won't you please tell everybody where they can find you, where they can locate you, as far as follow you, if you have any events coming up, as well as your books.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll make this real quick. My book that is coming back out uh, is called A Spoken Word Soliloquy. You're going to find it on Instagram. Please look me up at jrob underscore the underscore y son on Instagram. And you can find me on Facebook as John Robinson. But if you look up John Robinson, put the word Cardinal Hayes and I'll pop right up kissing my mom because that's the love of my life. Because John Robinson is a very common name. So find me that way. But again, come through, say what's up. I got some things coming up that I would like to share. And I'm just hoping that some of y'all enjoy what I'm trying to bring poetically. And let's do what we do as poets. I love every single one of you who have supported me throughout the years. And I can't be more blessed than what I am right now. And I want to thank you all for allowing me an opportunity to do this. Thank you.
Thank you. But once again, man, on behalf of the Louisiana Lyricist Lounge, I want to say thank you so much for accepting our invitation and coming through and dropping those bars, for letting people know why I say you are my favorite poet of all time. For everyone who's listening, who's viewing, thank you guys for constantly showing up, constantly getting the podcast to grow. I love y'all so much. And poets, we're poets. If you have something and it's in you, man, get that out. Don't hold it. Do what I say. Speak on it. We out.
Peace and blessings, y'all.